So guys, Ready Player One is finally out. And with this movie finally coming to theaters, it raises a lot of questions, and one of those is it the best video game movie ever made? Well, that's kind of a tough question and kind of a loaded one actually when you think about it, because you have to take a look at all the video game movies we've already gotten, and man is there a lot of stinkers. So let's take a look at what most people consider the best video game movie ever made, Mortal Kombat from 1995. Now, what does this movie achieve? Well, honestly, towards video games being taken seriously as movies, not much. It's very cheesy, and I think more people love it for the nostalgia reasons of that movie is the 90s, and it's just over-the-top silliness that just makes it fun to watch. But it doesn't do video games justice. So then what's the next movie that many people say is the best? Well, a lot of people would talk about Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Now, this is my personal favorite movie of all time. But as a video game movie, it doesn't feel like a video game movie to me. Sure, there's plenty of references to video games. There's, even the fact that the villains turn into coins when he defeats them. But that movie feels more like a comic book, which is what Edgar Wright was going for since it was based off a graphic novel. And instead of being a video game movie, it just feels like more of another kind of superhero movie, even though it's not superheroes. But, I mean, it's just not a video game movie. The next thing we got is Wreck-It Ralph. Wreck-It Ralph is an awesome movie. It does make a lot of jokes and has a lot of characters appear from video games. And up until a certain point, it does capture a lot of what video games feel like. But then it kind of gets stuck in the kart racing thing, and as cool as that is, it doesn't do video games as a whole justice. So what does Ready Player One do to change that? Well, from the moment it starts and you see H, Parzival's best friend on the planet, playing the massive multiplayer online shooter game, and they're talking about, the people that are at the top of the leaderboards, and you see everybody competing and they're taking it seriously, they're getting frustrated and different things. That's not all of what video game culture is, but that's a small slice of what video game culture is. And when they're in the race scene, it looks like MotorStorm or Split Second. It's like, it feels like a video game. That's another small part. You got the retro collecting aspect of it where, I'm a retro collector and I have lots of friends that are, and the moments where Parzival was spitting out knowledge about older games and different things like that, that's what those people do. It takes little parts of everything that we love about video games and all the different facets of, the people that play multiplayer games, the people that play, just regular games, the people that are collectors and all that stuff, and it puts it into the movie. And for that, it really represents what video games are and what they mean to the people that love them. And so, for me, this is the best video game movie ever made. You can see my review on WTFGamersonly. It's not my favorite movie of all time by any means. I did give it a pretty high score though, because I feel like this movie, it does change the way that video games are seen in media a little bit. Maybe people will see now why we love them so much. I mean, maybe not. It's just a movie, and people that don't like video games will probably just think it's silly. But it does capture all the great things about video games in this movie, and I feel like that, going forward, maybe video game movies should focus less on certain franchises and more so about the culture and stuff, just like this movie did. I mean, the problem with a lot of video game movies is that, say you take a franchise like Tomb Raider, the new one being based off a game that a lot of people love, that was, the Tomb Raider reboot in 2013. And they took elements of that, and then they changed other elements of that, and it's like, well, if I love that series, then why do I want to see somebody change it just to make it cheesy? Like, it's like film directors don't understand what video games are. They think they're just action blockbusters, which, I mean, they can be, but there's so much deeper, stuff than that to video games. We've seen Uncharted, The Last of Us. You could take even something like God of War, which doesn't have a super serious story, but it's very cinematic. video games are cinematic on their own. And until people start making movies that reflect how good these stories are in the game without trying to adapt them to something that's cheesy, we're not gonna have that. So until then, Ready Player One is the best video game movie we have ever had. And whether you like it or not, I guess it depends, and people will have different opinions. But that's why I want to know. What do you think is the best video game movie ever made? And do you think Ready Player One is the best video game movie ever made? And will it end the streak of bad video game movies? Only time will tell. But comment below, let me know. And be sure to subscribe, like the video, and check us out on social media, WTF Gamers Only. Check out some more articles that we have. Lots of great writers over there on the staff. And as always, this has been Mothman Media, Nolan Mackey. I'll see you next time.